This is your boy Jim Austin coming to you from the podcast Stockyards Recording Studios up here in the famous Fort Worth Stockyards. We are celebrating Memorial Day and the many military folks that went out and lost their lives for our country, that we could have freedom. One of the best countries in the world here in the United States. I'm glad to be coming to you with another podcast. My podcast is the Austin File. It's about commercial real estate. It's about things that are going on in North Texas. And it's also interviewing people that make a difference. This young man that we're going to be talking to today, he's making a difference. And we just met through a virtual member of my network, and he says, hey, you need to meet this brother. I'm going to let him pronounce his name. It's not that difficult, but you know, sometimes Jim can chop it up, and I don't want to chop it up. We're going to do the show with Mass for a minute, and then we'll break out of them, so make sure that you hear everything. Yes, sir. I just got your business card. And let me try it. Markivus Nious.
There you go.
Okay.
You got it right.
Okay.
Right.
Yeah, say it again for the audience.
It's Markivus, middle initial A, last name Nious.
Good to meet you, my brother. Deeper Than Music podcast, founder, radio host.
Yes.
You got a little talent.
I hope so.
Well, what I want to do, we're going to take the mask off for a minute. We always can put them back on because we know that we have to practice, spacing and make sure that we're being safe for sure. But we met through a mutual friend, Abel Maldonado. Called me and said, man, there's this brother that you need to meet, that he's doing the same thing that you doing, Jim. And I said, well, I called him up. We stayed on the phone for about a half an hour talking about our two networks. So today you're seeing social networking, that two brothers that are going to spend some time to see how we can help each other. It's good to have you here on the show, Markivus. And where'd you grow up? Where are you from?
Well, actually, I was born in San Antonio. Grew up a military brat, so I'm from all over. But San Antonio's home. That's where my mom, my dad, most of my family's from. Okay. But I've lived all over.
I love San Antonio, and I haven't been in a while, but that river walk and just the experience of the food and the entertainment, great place to get away. I mean, from Fort Worth. And then where did you go to school?
Okay. So growing up a military brat, I've been to school in Guam, USA, San Diego, California, New Jersey. We talked about New Jersey.
Yeah.
Let's see, Bay St. Louis, Mississippi. So I graduated high school in Mississippi.
Okay.
Graduated in '96, and then I kept with the family tradition, and then I joined the Navy.
Okay. Okay, well, thank you for your service. I mean, it means a lot for someone that did not get the opportunity to serve in the service. My dad did, I think he went in when he was 17. He cheated a little bit, but he got in and did his time and all. So, family,
Yeah, so I have a daughter, a 13-year-old daughter, 13 going on 32 now.
Yeah.
And the majority of my family, like I said, they're in San Antonio and Austin. So this Texas is home, but lived all over.
What's her name?
Olivia Nious.
Olivia, that's pretty. But I know she's your heart.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, and a motivation for what I do.
Okay. Yeah, I started my podcast studio probably about 2 months ago. And I thought right now when you're watching TV and people are communicating, it's through podcasts. So we started the podcast Stockyards Recording Studios, and we're here on the corner of 21st and Main in the Stockyards. And I'm just taking baby steps and trying to disseminate information. So when Abel said that you were doing your own podcast, we chopped it up and said, hey, maybe you can come over here and give me some lessons how to be better and sharper. And I'm an old soul, so I'm a marketeer. I'm a marketeer, I'm an entrepreneur. I love the art of being around people and meeting new people. So it's good to meet you on this rainy Monday day that we celebrate Memorial Day. So tell me a little bit about your company and what you do and how you make the world go round.
Oh, okay. So, like I said, I was used to be in the military. I was an air traffic. Well, let's rewind back. I'm a musical artist, positive hip hop artist. That's how I started, and everything that I do. So by chance, I wrote a drug-free rap in high school, and through that, one of the teachers noticed that I also was good in English. So from there, she invited me to go to a broadcasting academy. It's called the Hancock Broadcasting Academy in Bay St. Louis, Mississippi, which is now WBSL AM 1190. Did my internship there, got hired. So that's how I got into radio and broadcast journalism. So my senior year, I worked at the Broadcasting Academy. Again, both of my parents were in the Navy. My stepdad was a recruiter. My mom, retired chief, loved aviation. So one day, my senior year, my stepdad asked me what I wanted to do. I was like, I really wasn't too keen on going to college in Mississippi. He told me about air traffic control, so I thought air traffic control was the person that did this. He's like, no, since I love aviation, he played on Top Gun, and then when the plane clips the tower,
Yeah.
he said that's what air traffic controllers do. So I'm like, okay, cool, I can talk to airplanes all day. Joined the military, went to my first duty station in California, still pursued music, met up with some people who taught me music engineering, became a musical artist as long as being an air traffic controller. Long story short, I moved here about 6 or 7 years ago, still doing music, but still had a passion for radio. Got hired at TMI Radio, stayed with them for a little while, then decided to kind of stay away from the music, stay away from podcasting. As of last year, I decided to do it again. So just to make a long story short, it's always been music, but then from music, it branched off to broadcasting.
Mm-hmm.
Got back into podcasts. My love of music also led me into doing my own music videos, and I'm a person that my mom always told me, if you're passionate about something, learn it inside and out. So I just felt with all my talents just to do everything. Like the podcast is basically my love of music. I talk to musicians. I was the type of person, and still am the type of person, I want to know everything inside and out about an album, an artist. When we had cassette tapes and records, I would read the inside. So it's just an expansion of my love of music and digging into other musicians or entertainers' brains to see what makes them tick and the story behind their craft.
Well, you're a brother that's got some talent, and I know you currently work at American Airlines.
Yes.
Yeah, great company, and going through some struggles. My brother retired from American Airlines, and I have other friends that work there, but I feel sorry for the travel industry, but particularly the airlines are taking a hit. And getting a career in aviation's tower and the
So I've done the radar room, I've done the tower, and I also have done air traffic control on board a ship. I was part of Operation Enduring Freedom. I was stationed on USS Bonhomme Richard, so tower radar and doing amphibious air traffic control.
You see, listening audience, he using those big words on Mr. Austin, and I'm a proud graduate of Howard University, and I always like talking to intelligent brothers that know something about their game. So as your mom said, focus on your game and learn everything that you can, because then if you got that, you'll always have it.
Yes.
And when we're talking to people of interest, because your background interests me, and there's probably a lot of folks out there that know nothing about air traffic control or podcasts. So I'm learning as I go with what I do. So you have something called Deeper Than Music podcast. Tell us about
Yes.
that. You know what that's about.
So I like to describe it as Behind the Music meets Anthony Bourdain's No Reservations, because I interview, well, now it's not just musicians. I interview artists, directors, just creators, entertainers. So it's just a podcast about, my slogan is behind every great song there's a greater story. So it's just to find out the entertainers, their story behind their music, like what made them fall in love with their craft, how did they get to where they are now, and what were the challenges and the rewards. So.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Well, I'm very interested in checking it out, because you and I are talking about partnering, where your podcast is gonna go on my network and vice versa.
Yes.
You know, which will make both of us stronger. You know, because right now, just talking with different interesting people that make things go on within the market. And you're a radio host
Yes.
also. Where do you do that?
Oh, on my podcast.
On your podcast.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, and then
Okay.
also I have beyond that is also have it's called Nious Media. It's just an expansion. Like I said, this went from being an artist, still having a passion for broadcast journalism, and then being an artist. And I'm pretty sure with all artists, when you make music, you have the visuals in your head.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm like, well, I'll learn photography, I'll learn videography to bring my vision out, and then from that, it just led to other platforms. So with this and Nious Media, I have a Roku channel where I showcase Deeper Than Music, and then also the art forms or the videos or the music videos of people that I've interviewed or associated with. So.
Well, you know, my wife and I are founders of the National Multicultural Western Heritage Museum, so I look forward to getting some information out about my museum. A lot of people don't realize that 40% of the cowboys were black, Hispanic, Native American, and other. And I didn't learn until, you know, later in life that the Buffalo Soldiers protected the Asians as they built the railroad.
Whoa, I didn't know
across
that
the
either.
country. So, you know, you had Native American, you had Asian, cowboys, but the Buffalo Soldiers were running things out there because the wild was wet, the West was wild, and that's something that, you know, resonates with me.
Wow.
Of the history of the Buffalo Soldiers. Before we came up, I gave you a tour of my museum.
Yes.
What was your impression of what you experienced just downstairs?
I was impressed. When you said about the 40%, that stood out of my mind. I'm still like, we've never heard that, but no, I'm actually impressed. And I like the little aviation corner you have too. So,
Yeah.
But no, I think this is something that we all need to hear and talk about. And I was like, one thing that we talked about, or I would love to do something about the Multicultural Center and put it on the platforms that I have to bring awareness.
Well, one of the things that we welcome that, you know, we do the Austin File, and we do the History on the Brick, which is shot downstairs in the museum, and look forward to working with you with your podcast for sure, because there's so much opportunity, and we, as being African American, we need to work with each other.
Yes.
You know, to take our assets, throw them in the pot. You know, because, you know, I believe the more that I help you and work towards helping you, the better, and it makes me stronger. Because maybe one day I might need to borrow some money and you might have that money, okay? Because, you know, never cross a bridge, no, never burn down a bridge, because you never know when you're going to have to go back. Whenever you get mad, don't get so mad to do something stupid like hurt somebody, you know, because that can change your life forever. Because we're at a dangerous time right now with the, you know, pandemic, you know, affecting so many people. So now we're able to give our message all over the world. So if you had a message for young people that are thinking about doing what you're doing, or just what would you like to tell my listening audience that would inspire them to make them better in what they do?
The advice I would give would be to dream big and to nurture your craft and learn as much as you can. And nobody's gonna. Quincy Jones said this before. If you don't have the chills, then how do you expect other people to get the chills? So hone your craft, nurture your craft, dream big, and be passionate about what you love, what you do, and do what you love.
That's it.
That's
You
it.
know,
Yeah,
that's it. My passion is commercial real estate. I don't work a day in my life. People ask me, Jim, when you going to retire? I don't think I'm ever going to retire because I love what I do. I get up every day ready to go to work, to help someone and meet new people. But I'm looking forward to working with you with my grown folks jazz on Thursday night. Every Thursday we throwing down on Facebook, absolutely free. Also, we're planning a big Juneteenth celebration where we're going to have 12 bands performing on June 19th and June 20th. So look out for that on Jim Austin Online. If you're not with me on Facebook, you can join my fan page, Jim Austin Online. You can also join Jim Austin Online, get my newsletter. But man, it's been great talking with you, my brother, and I look forward to bonding. And you're young, and my producer of my show, Core Blue, my boy, from Texas Wesleyan. Give a shout out to Texas Wesleyan. He's the defensive end on Texas Wesleyan football team. So he likes bringing the pain. And we don't want nobody coming up here messing with nobody. But encourage you to stop by the studios. We're at 21st and Main. Get a cup of coffee. Come up and chop it up. But if you'd like to do your own podcast, reach out to Jim Austin at J. Austin at the Austin Company, or call the office 817-923-9305. It's been a pleasure talking with you, sir.
Likewise.
And I'm looking forward to the future.
Same here.